Today's title is Banish Bad Words. I like the banish part. Banish. I mean, that's kind of strong. Banishment. Get those bad words out of there. So what do we mean by bad words? These are words that are used in anger between children, siblings, one to the other, or between children and adults. And we know what these words are, but let's define it a little bit. So obviously we have that whole dictionary full of curse words. You know, the F-bomb and that whole group. Those are bad words. I think we can all agree on that. But I would like to extend it a little bit past that, actually. I think that words like shut up, that's those two words, but that's what I would also call bad words, bad phrase. And also words and expressions that are just kind of hurtful in a very personal, deep way. Like saying that someone is stupid or dumb, or commenting on their appearance, they're fat, they're skinny, whatever, things like that. These are hurtful expressions and hurtful words. We don't want to have these in the family culture. They are toxic in a culture, aren't they? And you've probably been exposed to kids that talk with complete abandon, and they have a vocabulary that includes all of these things that we generally consider to be bad words, and they can just say them freely. We've seen that, and I'll get back to that in just a moment. So what do we do about this? Well, interestingly enough, the whole bad words thing kind of comes into your family on a single day. Let's face it. We hope that our 2- and 3-year-olds, when they're learning how to speak, are not using the F-bomb at that point. Now, it's usually when they're a little bit older, and you see a couple of kids playing or disagreeing, your children, and you're in the other room, and all of a sudden you hear a word that, well, you're shocked. It's like, did I just hear that right? It's one of these bad words, really bad words maybe. And your first response might be, where did they hear that? Well, they heard it from a friend, or they heard it from the internet or TV. I mean, there's lots of places they can hear it. That's really not the biggest issue. The biggest issue for us as parents is how we respond to that. When that comes into our house at that discrete point, and we first hear bad language being used, how do we respond to it? So I'm going to tell a little bit of a story. My mom did a lot of things right when I was growing up. And when I was about 8 years old, I had a pretty contentious relationship with my sister. And I was watching a movie one day, and I heard something that kind of interested me. Somebody in the movie was getting into an argument, a discussion, an argument with someone else. And they said, if you say that to me again, I'm going to murder you. Well, I just kind of stored this away as being something, this could come in handy. This is a useful phrase that I might find a need for this at some point. Well, a couple days later, I did find a need for it. I got into an argument with my sister, and I told her, please don't say that again. I'm sure I did not use the word please. Please don't say that again. She didn't listen to me. So, building all my energy that I could into my vocal cords, I said as loudly as I could and as dramatically as I could, if you say that to me again, I'm going to murder you. Well, I don't know where my mom was in the house, but she flew into the scene faster than I'd ever seen her move before. And she let me know in no uncertain terms that this kind of language was not appropriate to be used for any member of the household. She never wanted to hear it again, never to be used. It made quite an impression on me. She made me apologize. And actually, the interesting thing is, as I remember this, and it still has an impression in my mind, I didn't quite get it at first. I thought, I'm not going to literally kill my sister. These are just words. So that was my first impression. Like, why can you be so concerned about words? But actually what my mom was doing right was doing a couple different things, 3 things. First off, she responded quickly, critical. Within 45 seconds probably. Second off, she responded with a reasonable amount of willfulness or force. She didn't say to me, we don't use words like that in our family. They're not nice. No, she kind of came down on me fairly hard. Now, I didn't get punished or anything like that, but verbally I could tell this was an important subject. This was maybe something I didn't want to do again. I didn't want to venture down this path. And the third thing that she did right was she kind of taught me, and I didn't know it at the time, but she taught me that words actually have an effect. You can assault somebody by hitting them with your hand. You can also sort of assault somebody by hitting them with words. So that was a good response, and it actually worked. I never used that term again, and I really stayed away from bad words throughout my childhood because I knew clearly that this was off limits. So this is, I think, a good example of what we need to do as parents. If we do hear these words or expressions or phrases, if we do hear these come into our home life, we need to address it quickly. And we need to address it with an appropriate degree of firmness. We have to let our children know that this is clearly not acceptable language. And we also, as a byproduct, do kind of teach them that words do have power. Words have meaning, they have weight, and we have to use them responsibly when we're dealing with anyone, but especially in our home, with family members, with people that we love. So now, that may be the way to address this when it first pops up, but you might have a different situation. And I'm going to go back to what I talked about at the very beginning, and that is I've seen this in a lot of households. I've also heard about this from my children, and they would visit households, and they would see words being used, curse words, the worst kind of words, with siblings. They would see children telling their parents loudly, I'm not going to F-bomb, listen to you anymore, you suck. Just terrible language with no consequences. Accepted. Just a part of the family culture. It's okay to use all these words. That's not good. That's not right. I mean, that's not the best family culture to be living in today. No one feels really good about that. Kids don't feel good about it. Parents don't feel good about it. It's something we have to address. So, if you already have this in your home, if this has been there for a while, and it's bugging you a lot, and it's time for a change, there's a way you can do it. And for this particular action, I recommend getting together in a family meeting. Now, there's a video up on the channel, on the homepage, on family meetings, what they can be used for, how to conduct them, that sort of thing. Just a few ideas to give you a little guidance. But just in the quick view, family meeting. Get everybody together in the family. Get together in the living room or someplace where you watch TV. Sit down. Slow down. Get rid of the distractions. And when I say everybody in the family, I do mean everybody. I mean, even if you have some young children or older children who are involved, get them in there too. Get both partners in there. It should be a family discussion because these kind of bad words and bad phrases really do affect everyone in the family. So get everybody together. And then a good way to start a meeting like this, in my view, is to own up to the fact that maybe you made a mistake and you thought this would kind of go away, but now we've got a problem because there's a lot of cursing or whatever going on. Own up to it. Take responsibility for it. Say, maybe I didn't manage this correctly. Say, maybe I should have addressed this a long time ago, guys. But we've got a lot of cursing that's going on. I don't like it. I want to see what we can do about it. What do you think we can do about it? Turn it over to them. Don't give directives. Don't give orders. They're probably not going to be effective. They're almost certainly not going to be effective, let's face it. Get them on board. Ask them what they think. Ask them how they feel about this. Ask for their suggestions. All the while, guiding things in the direction that you want them to head in. Sometimes when these things happen in families, they kind of put down roots. So they can be a little difficult to quote unquote dig up. Might take a couple family meetings, might take some work, but don't give up. Stay at it. Make it a mission to get these toxic words out of your family life. So I hope this has been helpful to you and you've gotten some ideas here. Thanks for watching.